Once upon a time, in a quiet village surrounded by hills and forests, there lived 3 brothers. Though they were born of the same parents and shared the same roof, each one was different in nature. The eldest was wise and thoughtful, the second was cheerful and kind, and the youngest, though clever, often let his desires lead him into trouble. One bright morning, the 3 brothers decided to take a walk in the forest. They wandered far, deeper than they ever had before. The trees whispered secrets above them, birds sang melodies, and the air was rich with the scent of wildflowers. The hours passed quickly as they played, climbed trees, and explored the winding paths. But as the sun began to sink, dark clouds rolled in. A heavy rain fell suddenly, drenching the brothers before they could find shelter. The forest path turned muddy and slick, and the cold wind bit through their clothes. Shivering and wet, they stumbled upon a small hut by the side of the path. Smoke rose from its chimney, and a flicker of firelight glowed through a tiny window. They knocked on the door, and an old woman, bent with age but bright-eyed and kind-looking, opened it. "Come in, children," she said gently. "You'll catch your death out there." Gratefully, the 3 brothers entered. The hut was small but warm, with a fire crackling in the hearth. The old woman handed them dry shawls and helped them hang their wet clothes by the fire. They sat around the warmth, slowly returning to comfort. A pot of porridge simmered over the fire, and the smell filled the room with its thick, sweet warmth. It smelled like oats, honey, and perhaps even a touch of cinnamon. The brothers' stomachs growled, but they were too shy to ask. The old woman stirred the pot and smiled. "Would you like some porridge?" The brothers, too polite to accept, shook their heads. "No, thank you," they said in unison. She raised her eyebrows but said nothing. She removed the pot from the fire and placed it in a corner of the hut. When the rain stopped and the sky cleared, the brothers stood up, now warm and dry. They thanked the old woman for her kindness, bowed respectfully, and left the hut. They had only gone a short distance when the youngest stopped suddenly. "Oh no," he said, "I forgot my cap inside." "Go and get it," the others said. "We'll wait for you here." But in truth he had forgotten nothing. His mind was fixed on the porridge he had refused but could not stop thinking about. He turned back, walked quickly to the hut, and found the door slightly open. The old woman was not there. He stepped inside. The pot of porridge was exactly where she had left it. He hesitated only for a moment, then grabbed a spoon and began to eat. Spoon after spoon he ate greedily until most of the porridge was gone. Afraid the woman would notice, he looked around and saw a pile of ash and sand near the fireplace. Quickly he scooped some into the pot, stirred it, and made it look as though it had never been touched. Then, pretending to have retrieved his cap, he rejoined his brothers. "Did you find it?" they asked. "Yes," he said, showing nothing. They continued walking, but not long after, a voice rang out behind them, shrill and full of fury. "You ungrateful children!" They turned in surprise. The old woman was standing outside her hut, her face full of rage. "I gave you warmth, shelter from the storm, and kindness. And what did you do in return? One of you filled my pot of porridge with sand." The brothers were shocked. The eldest stepped forward. "Dear woman, we are sorry you feel wronged, but none of us would do such a thing." "Lies," she spat. "But I will find out the truth. You will all face a test, one that cannot be fooled." She raised her hand, and a long, narrow rope appeared across the wide river nearby. It shimmered in the fading light, suspended high above the rushing water. "Each of you must walk across the rope. If you are innocent, you will reach the other side safely. But if you are guilty, the rope will throw you down and you will fall into the river." The brothers looked at one another. The eldest stepped forward without fear. "I will go first," he said. He sang a song as he placed one foot on the rope. "We are 3 brothers who went to the woods. Rain came down and we found shelter. The woman cooked porridge in her hut. If I ate it and filled her pot with sand, let me fall into the river and die. But if I am innocent, let me reach the other side." He walked across the rope carefully, step by step. The rope held firm. The wind blew, but he did not waver. At last he reached the other side, safe and sound. The second brother stepped forward. He sang the same song and crossed as well. The rope held. He made it safely to the other bank. Then it was the youngest brother's turn. He hesitated. His face had gone pale. His feet trembled as he approached the rope. "You must go," the old woman said firmly. His brothers, still believing in his innocence, urged him gently. With a shaking voice, he began to sing. "We are brothers. We went to the woods. Rain came down. We found shelter. The woman cooked porridge. If I filled the pot." He stopped. "Go on," said the old woman, her eyes narrow. Even his brothers now looked at him with worry. He finished the song weakly. "If I filled her pot with sand, let me fall into the river and die. But if I am innocent, let me get to the other side." He placed one foot on the rope. Then another. At first it seemed he would make it. But halfway across, the rope began to shake. His legs wobbled. His hands flailed. Suddenly, with a loud cry, he slipped and fell into the cold, rushing river below. The water swallowed him and he was gone. The old woman turned to the two brothers. "He has paid the price. Go now and remember what you have witnessed." The remaining brothers, saddened but wiser, walked away in silence, never forgetting the lesson they had learned that day. Moral of the story: greed and dishonesty may seem like small things in the moment, but they can lead to great consequences. When someone shows you kindness, repay it with gratitude, not betrayal. In the end, the truth always reveals itself, no matter how well a lie is hidden.